What is going on, guys? um, it's 8:15 at night. Been a full day's work, um, but we are bringing in a new guy right now. A good friend of mine. Went to school with him. Known him for a very long time. Um, and he's kind of going through learning the allowables over the allowables. Uh, the meaning and everything. And I thought it'd be a good time to go over the HUD allowables. So what I did is I highlighted some of the ones that we utilize the most or the most common, and I think it's very situational for where you may live geographically within the United States. I'm down here in the deep South, so these are the ones that apply to me most. So there may be things that apply to you, given your region or wherever you're at, that I don't go over. But I just really went through and highlighted what I would consider the big ones. And we'll just go over basically, can they be done within the allowable? And then, you know, talk about some of the things for each specific one that may cause me to do them over the allowable. Because one of the things to keep in mind is you really need to understand the allowables, because that is such a common thing that's discussed and talked about in this industry is, the allowables versus over the allowables. So anytime you're going to bid and you're trying to get an approval back, the things that you can do within the allowable that you list, you need to list for the allowable pricing. And anything that's going to be over the allowable, that would be the things that you run the repair base on. So what we do is we'll just manual input the allowable items in repair base, or even repair base has a specific section in there for HUD allowables, and you can list them that way. The only problem is if your client takes your repair base and marks it up 25%, then you need to be conscientious of the price that you put in repair base. And then if they take it and they mark it down 25%, then you need to be conscientious again. So in other words, some clients you would put it in there for the full allowable pricing, and then the other clients you would not, just depending on who you're working for. So you would need to know that. But maybe this will be helpful. I think it would be helpful. I mean, one of the things that I had to learn the soonest and the quickest was the allowables, what I could do within the allowable. And also, if you're going to work subs, it's really good to know, because like a lot of the things, if it were, the thing about working subs is subs for subs. Okay, so only certain amount, you can only take a certain amount of money off the top of this stuff before it gets to where it's just not worth it. So if you're going to work subs, you have to understand what you can take a percentage of and other people still make money, versus the things that you can't really take a percentage of and they still make money, because obviously if they're not making money, they don't want to do it. So you kind of have to be conscientious of that, and that's another reason why you need to be very familiar with who you're onboarding with and their percentages, or whatever percentages you negotiate, especially if you're working subs, because you need to make sure that, one, there's enough percentage for you to take a percentage to still make money, but also for your sub to still be making plenty of money, because obviously we all do this to make money. So if they're doing it on your behalf, then there needs to be enough there for them to make money as well. And I think a lot of these regionals and a lot of these people who do this, they don't really care about retention as much as they care about just making a dollar today. They're not really thinking about tomorrow, whereas I try to focus on retention. I want my subs to make money, and I want them to stick around, mainly because they're all my friends. But even if they weren't, I try to take care of people. I worry about other people. I worry about other people's families. I want everybody to eat. I want everybody to be happy doing what we're doing and kind of just grow together. So, but with all that being said, we'll just go over some of the HUD allowables and have a quick conversation about each and every one of them, and I hope it helps. So, like I said, I highlighted the ones that I feel like we should go over. And the first one is the lock set. So keep in mind here, if you are going off of the HUD allowables for whatever client you're with, whatever percentage you negotiate, but just for the sake of simplicity, we're going to go with 25%. So lock set replacement, front or main entranceway. So this is your first lock set. A lot of these people will try to kind of work around that fact. But the fact of the matter is, The first lock set that you go in is the lock set that you're getting paid more for. And the reason is because obviously it takes time to get into that lock set. Once you get into the first lock set, obviously you can walk to the other ones, unlock them, and there's no time involved in that. So if they require you during initial secure to secure the secondary door, but then they turn right back around, they're like, oh, we only want to pay you the secondary door allowable, say no. If that's what you want me to do, then I'm going to secure the front door because I need that money now, because obviously this is the one that takes the most time doing. So that's something you can will and deal with them or talk to them about. I've squashed that issue twice since I've been doing this. And so, but for simplicity's sake, you'll be getting $45. Can you do it for $45? Yes, it's not fun. You're not breaking the bank, but it can be done for $45. Lock set replacement other than above. And so this is all your secondary locks. So can you do it for, it says, the HUD liable says 20 minus 25%, that's 15. Can you do it for $15? The answer is no. Now, do you do it? Yes, you do, because everybody in the industry does it. And you don't want to be the guy who's like, I'm not going to do it for that price, because then they'll find somebody else to do it. So, again, I've always said this about the securing stuff. There's no flipping money in it. The money is in the bids, okay? So, lock set, secondary lock set, can you do it for 15? No. Should they raise that price? Absolutely. Every single one of them should be, in my opinion, $75 per. But that's just me. And that's keeping it conservative. That's like my opinion on it being a mild, pricing, not just something through the roof. I just feel like it should be $75 per lock set. Look, the lock sets are $12.99 if you buy them in bulk, and then you have to pay shipping, or you don't have to pay shipping, but either way, it's $12.99. Nobody wants to do anything for $2. Padlock and hasp, it said the HUD allowable is 40, so let's just say we're getting 30. Can you do them for 30? Yes. If you are doing initial secures, you should really focus on padlocks. I'm scared to give all of my secrets away because I don't want anything getting changed, but I will tell you this: I put as many padlocks out as I can. A lot of the area that I cover, fortunately, has a very, very high crime rate. So a lot of the doors are kicked in by the time that I get there. If the jamb is busted out and a lock set is not going to work until you replace the jamb, padlock that door. If it's an exterior closet, padlock that door. If it's an exterior outbuilding, padlock that door. Crawl space, padlock it. Garage door, padlock it. If there's a pool or water feature in the backyard, padlock every single gate you can. I think for most companies you get up to 6 before it starts over the allowable. So in that case, you would lock the most important 6 first and bid the rest, unless they'll let you go over 6. But do I think we can padlock for $30? The answer is yes. Replace exterior door pre-hung steel 800. So that's $600 each. This one is kind of really. This one would be situational. If we didn't have a whole lot going on and the opportunity presented itself, I would probably do it for $600 if I could get the door for less than $180. And I would want there to be some other allowable stuff with it, but 90% of the time I would not want to do it for $600. Because the thing to remember too, at least for us, as we do so many properties, we can't ever really remember the dimensions of the door. Is it a 30 by 80, a 32 by 80? Is it a 36 by 82? And a lot of the times they'll be measured, and we'll have it written in the notes. But even then, because I'm just a weird guy like this, I want to go back and double check before I buy the door. So a lot of the times you're stuck getting doors where you can get doors. In some places they're cheaper than other places. Here we have a place called Marvin's, and it's like a rural Home Depot, and they have the best pricing on doors. But regardless, most of the times I like to bid any doors and casings over the allowable. Slab only, casing, jams, all that I like to bid over the allowable. So if you're in a pinch, you ain't got nothing to do, and you're just trying to make an extra buck, could you do it? Possibly, but normally I bid them as over the allowable. Replace overhead door. Single bay door 800, double bay door 1000. This one is absolutely not happening. Um, I have tried and tried and tried every single way possible to make this work. And one, we're not great at installing these things. Like every time we do it, it sucks and it takes longer than it should. So, um, I will not do these within the allowable. And I don't even I can't remember the last time I've been asked to do them, but I won't do them within the allowable. I don't think they can be done within the allowable, and the doors are very very expensive, and it takes a lot of time to put them up, or at least for us. Some of you guys may be much better at doing it and can get them at a better price, but for me, I cannot do overhead doors within the allowable. Reglazing, $1.50 per United inch, which is what, $1.12. I ain't even got my phone on me. I don't have my phone, so. But can you do them for $1.12? I mean, you could. You know, glass isn't that expensive. To get it cut and to buy it, it's relatively cheap, but it is a hassle. The only thing is in my experience, if you are reglazing a window, generally they want you to do it for the allowable pricing. A lot of the times these windows can't be reglazed. A lot of the times the sashes are messed up. A lot of the times the seals are rotted out. So a lot of the times there's a lot of issues with these windows, to where they just need to be replaced. I prefer removing and replacing windows as opposed to reglazing them. But if you get up to a door and it's got one little 12 by 6, window pane knocked out of it, you're not going to get a door replacement on account of that. They're going to want you to reglaze it. So normally I just bid to reglaze them, and we reglaze them, but we kind of do it as a part of a larger picture. Because here's the deal: if you're doing an approval for $2,500 and one of the line items is reglaze a window, you're not like overly concerned about the price of it. You just kind of want to do it, exit off, and get on about your day. But if you have to go out to just reglaze a window, then this pricing becomes an extreme inconvenience because it's really hard to make money that way. But it is something that we, and me personally, I do them for the allowable pricing. Window lock replacement. No. To me, this one should be the exact same price as the one below that, which is the slider lock. So the slider lock for your double doors is, $25 each. So $18.75 or whatever. I think the window lock should be the exact same price. I do not think it's even worth the time it takes to do it. At the whatever $3.75 a piece. I absolutely not. I don't think that's a good price, and I don't do them for that price. But the slider locks, now this is something depending on who you're doing your secures for, but a lot of the people you do secures for, this is an allowable and something you can utilize during the initial secure. And you can also buy these at U.S. Hardware Supply for a couple bucks and just buy them, and keep them in your truck and have boo-koodles of them because, that extra 18 bucks or whatever it is, when you tack it onto your price doing the initial secure, it kind of helps bump up that overall number for your trip out there. So the slider lock price I have no issue with. The window lock replacement price I do have an issue with, and I think it should be the same price as the door slider lock. Boarding windows. So it says 90 cents per United inch, so 67 cents per United inch. Here's the deal. This one I have fussed about for a very long time. I hate this one more than any other allowable on here other than the garage doors. Because you literally cannot, and oh, by the way, they want you to use 3/4 inch plywood. Not happening. So if you use, is it 15, 30 seconds or whatever, basically half inch. If you use half inch and you buy one 2x4, you're still not making any money. The thing is you can buy sheets of plywood, 4 foot by 8 foot, or you can buy the little small sheets. The problem with the small sheets, they're never long enough. So you end up having to buy a full sheet. What we do is every time we do a debris removal and there is plywood there, we remove it, we put it on the farm, and that's what I call it, refurbished wood. My guys crack up all the time, but that's what we use to board windows, because I flat refuse, unless I'm just in an absolute crunch, to buy wood to board a window with. We always try to use refurbished wood, because at least if we do it that way, in my mind, it's like I don't have any money in materials. And I know that I'm either going to have to reglaze this window, or I'm going to be able to replace this window at some point, hopefully replace the window, and I can make a little bit of money then. So it's just something that we do. And again, depending on the client that you're doing these initial secures for, a lot of them do not want any unsecure openings on the property. So this will be something you do during the initial secure. So if you keep that stuff on your truck, which I never have on my truck when I need, I always have to go back and get it or go buy it, which I just said I don't like to do. But if you keep this stuff with you and you just kind of do it while you're doing the secure, it's a good way to kind of, bump up that overall number for the day, especially if you didn't have to buy the materials. But it is, I cannot stand that allowable. Honestly, I think it should probably be $2.50 a United Inch to board a window. So, swimming pool securing in ground, $1,250. So that's whatever, 950 roughly, somewhere in there. Can you do it for that price? No. Now, I will say this. I have ordered my pool covers from U.S. Hardware and Supply for a long time. Somebody just recently on this Facebook thing, so finally some good information coming from that Facebook group, that you could get them on Amazon. So I went on Amazon and I was looking, and they are about $100 cheaper on Amazon. I personally have not ordered one from Amazon yet, so I don't know the quality of them. But, if you're looking at anywhere from $400 to $700 for a pool cover, depending on the size, and then you're looking at it installing it for about whatever, $930 some odd dollars, you're not really making any money. But the thing is they put their foot down on this most of the time, unless it's unless it's like a custom pool or it's a really, really large pool. So, and I, just spitballing here on pool dimensions, I feel like if it's 40, maybe a 35 foot or longer, and 20 foot or wider, we've been able to bend them over the allowable. Some pool covers we've put on for as much as $2,500, but I have done a bunch of them, for that price right there. Now, will not do any of them for any less than $1,200, because there's just no way possible to do them. But again, pool covers aren't like a big thing. And normally when we do them, again, we're doing them like during an approval, so we're there doing a whole bunch of other stuff, and it's just not that big of a deal. And I've never really looked at it like it was that big of a deal. But if I were just going to do a pool cover, it would be really, really hard to make it work for that price. And it's frustrating because they try to, they're real, real firm about these freaking pool covers. But and the other thing is like, you can put your foot down to a certain degree, and a lot of people are always, I freaking demand this price, I demand that price, I demand this price, whatever. Well, listen, if you got a freaking family to feed, and there's 100 other people right down the road doing the same thing, they got a family to feed, somebody's gonna get it done, period. So if you live off in freaking BFE and don't nobody do this crap, and you get 6 properties a month, and you want to put your foot down, by all means put your foot down. But where I'm at, I'm not the only person doing this stuff. So and I want to have everything in my area. So I try not to, my dad always said, choose your battles wisely. So I try to recognize all of the things positive about this, and then some of these, like this right here, I just chop up to the game, and it's a part of the bad when I always say take the good with the bad. But pool covers, I would say $1,250 bottom dollar, period. Above ground swimming pool for $500, absolutely not. There just ain't no way. I mean, even if it were $500, no way. But certainly not for $375 or whatever. I wouldn't do it. I always try. First of all, I always just try to demo the darn things. I don't like fooling with them. I think they're hideous. Number one, because they're never in like mint condition when we get them. They're always an eyesore. So, my first go to is always to just remove them. But if we do have to cover them, that is something that I bid is over the allowable. Dry winterization. So here's something to keep in mind. All right, VA pays $150 for these. So everybody you're working for that you're doing these VA properties, they're getting $150. So you can ask them for a little bit more than this 75, but that's up to you. You can play that game however you want it, but they have it on here at $100. So could you do it for 75? Um, you can do it for 75. I mean, it has to be done during the initial secure. So again, it's just one of those things that kind of bumps the number up. So I don't really put too much focus on it. I just get in there, do it, do what I have to do, make it right, put it behind me, and move on. And again, I mean, it's just one of those things to kind of, you're there to do an initial secure. So you've got 4 padlocks out, you've changed the lock set, you put a lock box on, you've done a winterization, which included the pressure test. You've boarded one window, you had some allowables, so you've capped some water caps, or whatever. You've done all this stuff. By the time you get done, you've made $400, $500, $600. So you can oh God, I'm gonna have to figure out how to edit that out. You can whine and cry all you want to, but any day I go out by myself and I make that kind of money, I'm tickled to death. So rewinterization for 50, so your price would be 37.50. I mean, I would do them for that price. I've done them for that price. Rewinterizations are pretty simple. They're they generally don't take very long. So, and again, I'm not gonna really. I just kind of, like I said, chop that up with the good and the bad. Pressure test at 20, they have 20, so 15. No, I wish it was more than 15, but it's not. That's just really, what it is. It is what it is. So, but another thing too is this is, everybody includes this in with the winterization. So, really, we only would ever see this as an individual price during the off months when we're not doing winterizations, or if it's a final secure and it's like already been winterized. I mean, sorry, if it's already been winterized and it's final secure, you're probably not going to do a pressure test because they're only going to do it once. um, but if it's an initial secure and it's out of season, you would just do a pressure test only. Or if there was plumbing damages, like if it failed the pressure test and then you fix some plumbing damages, you would do another one just to make sure that you fixed your plumbing. But I don't think they pay enough. But again, you know, it is what it is. You just kind of take the good with the bad type deal. Wire capping at $1 each. They have here 75 cents a piece. Honestly, I don't think it's worth the time to even screw the dang things on there for 75 cents a piece. Um, we do it, we bid it. Always we bid it, and we just bid it for the allowable pricing, and then we'll have on our work order, blah blah blah, and then one of the line items will be cap wire and um, bedroom 3 from missing light fixture, and we'll go in there and get the before, during, after of us screwing those on there. Now, am I going to drive out to a property to only cap wires? Absolutely not. So water, sewer, gas capping. This one I like. I like this one a lot. We use this one a lot. I've never really complained about this. The sewer is going to be obviously any of your sewer caps. The most common one is going to be your washer drain cap. Water caps, your hot water heater spigot, your 2 washer hookup spigots, your exterior spigots. So, I mean, just in those 5, you're looking at 55, whatever, $56, 56.25 or whatever. And then you've got your sewer line. So, I mean, and if you're doing those during the initial, I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, to do all of that doesn't take very long, 5 minutes tops, and you're able to kind of, boost your overall number for the day up. And if it's a type deal where they want you to bid it, even when you're throwing little stuff like this in with your approvals, you're just generating line items. So I don't complain about that. I always do them if it's an allowable, or I always will bid them and add them into the approval if we couldn't do them during the secure as an allowable. Chimney capping. So it's got on here $100. So $75. No. Anytime we've had to do chimney caps or cap a chimney, I've always bid them. Gutter cleaning and repair. This is another one of them that they're very, very, very firm on for some reason. And I think it's because I would say 90% of the people who clean gutters, I know for us, we always do it from the top of the roof. So obviously there's a tremendous amount of liability from being on the roof. I don't think they're willing to pay more than this because they just assume that it can be done from a ladder. And in a lot of cases, it probably could be. But for us, it's just very, very slow. And not only that, you're having to put your ladder on the gutters all over the house unless you've got the gutter guard for your ladder. So 9 times out of 10, we just get on the roof and we blow them out. So, and I've tried to bid these over the allowable, and they're pretty firm on this deal right here. So I don't get super excited about cleaning gutters, and I don't do them like on site during a secure. I'm not gonna like take the time out to get on the roof and clean the gutters. And the big thing is I'm always there by myself, so I really want to limit my time on the roof. But I will bid these at that price right there, and we'll do them during the approval. Dehumidifier, $250 on here, so whatever that is, 100 and whatever. No, there ain't no way. You can't even buy the dadgum dehumidifier for that price. And they try to be firm on this, but this is one of them that I literally will put my foot in. There's no way that I'm going to go out and spend $300 on a dehumidifier and get paid, have to pay them 100 and some odd dollars to put it in. So this one right here is one that I stand firm on. We will not touch this one right here unless it's an over the allowable pricing. Moisture absorbent. These right here are just your little damp rits, and like, I don't know if you remember like the old Folgers coffee can. The ones we get are about that size, like mid-sized, probably 5 inches tall. I think they're $5 a piece, $4 a piece, somewhere in there, and I buy a bunch of them at one time. And we use them. Now this one, the price is not. Normally the prices that I get as an allowable price are better than the price that's on here. But the maximum I think is normally between 100 or 120. Like you can't just go out there and put 50 of these things in. I normally put 5 in. But if it's something that you can do during the secure, again, you're just kind of bumping that overall number up. So I do like this allowable. I use this allowable a lot. We'll even put it in, on our approvals when we bid. Like if it's not an allowable that we can use during the secure, we'll bid it. Mold treatment. This one's very, very situational. I mean, it just depends on what you think you can do for that price right there. We have used this allowable, but in the houses in Alabama, like, it's freaking hot down here for 10 months out of the year, and it's humid down here for for those same very 10 months. So all of these houses that sit vacant it doesn't take very, very long, they have significant mold problems. So very rarely could we fix or address the mold issue within the allowable. So we're pretty much always bidding that stuff over the allowable. But like I said, if it's something that you could do for that price, quick in and out, use up the allowable, then I would say sure, go ahead. Debris. So they have 50 a yard, so that puts you at 37.50, somewhere in that area. This one, to me, is so hard for it just to be a set price because we use so many different landfills across the state, and some landfills charge by the cubic yard, others charge by weight, and they all charge different pricing. Well, if you're in the only landfill you can get to charges you $15 a yard, and you show up with a dump trailer with 25 yards, That's a pretty significant freaking, dump receipt you're going to be leaving there with. So I don't like. Will we do it for the? Would we do it for this price? Yes, we do it for this price all the time. I don't always like it, and if you've watched this channel before, you know how much I cannot stand freaking trash outs and debris removals. And honestly, I don't even, if I wouldn't enjoy them if this were higher, because there's just it for us to do them at the speed that we need to do them to be able to make any money whatsoever. It just pretty much takes everybody, and when you put everybody in your company on one job, there's nobody on any other jobs doing anything else to put money in the bank. So it's just like it's like a big funnel where everybody's just stuck right here doing this one thing. So I don't really like them, but we do them for this price. Broom sweep cleaning. This one's so ridiculous. I mean, if you're in a 4,000 square foot house, obviously it should cost more for you to sweep it than it would if you were in a single wide trailer. So to put a flat price on this one is a little obnoxious, but it's also one of them. I mean, when we do these trash outs, obviously we're going to sweep the house out anyway because it's the right thing to do. So I don't ever complain about this price because it's just kind of always on there, and we just do it, get pictures of it, be done with it. Refrigerator and freezer cleaning. Now, this one, I do not do them for this price. And used to, it was higher than this. But $100 firm, plus any of the perishables that have to come out. So, like, if you're cleaning a fridge and it's got, whatever food, if it's literally, I'm not joking with you, if it's got 2-3 things in it, like, I'm going to put it in a bag and I'm going to bill them for 1 yard because it just doesn't pay enough. But if you open the fridge and it's just kind of got a little bit of like, surface dinge to it and it's not that bad, is it worth doing it for this price? Yeah, if you can do it in a very short period of time, it's worth going out to your truck, getting all your cleaning supplies, coming in there, taking your time, doing the pictures and blah, blah, blah. But when these heavily soiled refrigerators, not a chance I'm doing them for this price. And toilet cleaning, yes, I don't mind doing them for that price because it just doesn't take very long. And I've done so many of them that, I mean, I don't mind doing them for that price because generally there's 3 toilets. I mean, you can clean them, you can be done with it. So I don't complain about that. Some people may have a weak stomach. Some people may, whatever. I know a lot of people do complain about those 2 prices right there specifically. But I do them for that price. I guess that's up to you. But if there is feces in the toilet, again, you can bill for the yard of feces that you're having to remove, and that's, bio waste or whatever. So, dryer vent covers, I do like these. Utilize this allowable all the time. Pretty much, if like I said during the secure, we have the allowable, I always do the dryer vent. If not, I'll bid it. It's one, I do like it. The over-the-counter pest extermination. We've had to use this one a buku of time, and honestly, this is probably my favorite allowable, and it's not because of the price. Because if I go in to secure a house and I've got fleas jumping over my legs, the very first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna go to Walmart. I'm gonna buy a bunch of them flea bombs. I'm gonna call them and let them know I ain't fooling with it for 2 days. I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna bomb that bad boy. Now I would do that with or without the allowable because I don't want fleas. And then my guys, when they come back in 2 weeks to do the approval, they don't want fleas either. So that's one that I really, 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 really like. And we use all the time because I cannot stand freaking fleas. Dead animal removal. If this were a cow that were dead, I probably wouldn't do it for that. But if it was a rat, I most certainly would do it for that. We've removed cats. We've removed a dog once, all for this allowable right here. I mean, it doesn't take very long. I mean, it's, kind of one of them type deals where, obviously you don't want to leave it there because it stinks. So normally we just do it. The vehicle removal. This is the most ridiculous price ever. I mean, this price right here is extremely low in my opinion for removing a vehicle because it is just such a logistical nightmare to remove a vehicle off of a property. for me, because then it makes you have to take either two trucks, because now you got a truck with a dump trailer, because you're not removing the vehicles until it's time to remove the debris. So obviously you got a dump trailer there for the debris. So now that vehicle has to come home, hook up to a different trailer, go back and get the vehicle. So it's not really worth it. Um, we do it for this price just because they're so firm and they stand their ground so much on this vehicle removal. But the thing is, you can turn right around, you can cut the catalytic converters off of it, and then you can haul it off to the scrap yard and you can get that money. So there's a little bit of money that you can get from removing the vehicle. Um, we don't ever keep the vehicles. We're not like trying to get mechanics titles or that kind of crap. I don't care nothing about that. We take them straight to the scrap yard if we can. The ones that we can't, that have a lien on it, we will figure out who the lien holder is. We'll send them an email, let them know they're going to have to pay storage fees if they don't remove the lien. Um, and that's only happened twice. Both times they removed the lien. And if the house is, I mean, if the car is too new to where you can't scrap it without the title, then I just park it at my farm somewhere deep in the woods where I don't have to look at it, and just let it sit there until the 10-year mark. I think it's 10 years, whatever. I have one sitting there right now waiting for that 10-year mark so that I can scrap it. Fencing repair. This one's kind of like the mold. It's completely situational. If you've got 3 or 4 slats that you need to change on a privacy fence, then sure, go ahead. But if you've got 5 posts you got to put in the ground and, 5 or 4 panels, then obviously you need to bid that as over the allowable. Carpet removal, including removal of tack strips, no, bid this as over the allowable. Police and fire reports. Man, do I hate these right here. Where I live, you have to meet a police officer out there, or the fire department, they do their reports without you, so that one's not so bad. For the police, you have to meet them out there, talk to the police, file a report, wait a few days, go get the report, come back and scan it. Am I doing all that for $15? Absolutely not. So, but look, that one pretty much sums it up. These are your grass cut prices. I don't want to even comment on grass cut prices because if you can cut a yard for that amount of price. And there's the thing is these prices are so negotiable with most of the companies that it's not, I don't want to elaborate on it, because whether I would do something for one price in rural Alabama, I mean, if I was living in, New York City or something, maybe it would be a little different. So I don't want to go into too much detail on that. But that's pretty much the ones that I would consider the most important ones. All of your trimming, all of this right here, I'm bidding every single bit of this, unless there's literally 10 foot of shrubs or less. I'm going to bid it all as over the allowable. So, look, I'm tired. It's nearly 9 o'clock. So, hopefully this helps somebody in some way. Hopefully I didn't ramble too much. But I'm going to get my butt downstairs and I'm going to go to bed and get some rest. We got a busy day. We've had a busy week. We've had a busy month. We've had a busy last 6 months. We have worked and worked and worked, and I mean 10, 12, 14-hour days every single day since I got back from the beach June 22nd. So it's been crazy. We've been extremely, extremely busy, and I don't see the light at the end of the tunnel yet. And you got to make hay while the sun shines. So I'm not complaining too much, but I am getting tired. And but hey, it's cooling off, so I'm thankful for that. But look, I hope this helped. You guys take care and go make some money.